From the infirmary, where I am still very much hacking up a lung, this is Kurt Berglund with another Pine Tar Baseball Great Team Set preview. This time we're doing the 1974 Oakland A's, another team that won your vote in the top 5 to be in the set. This team, the 1974 A's, part of the 72, 73, 74 A's World Series run, and bookended by playoff runs in 71 and 75. They just lost in the ALCS in those years. So you had 5 years of A's dynastic, I think we can call it a dynasty, greatness. Maybe the team of the 70s, although the Reds might have something to say about that. Maybe Baltimore. But clearly a very, very good team, and I want to introduce you to this team today, give you a little bit of a preview, and talk about the strengths and the challenges they may have in the upcoming leagues and tournaments that you may run as part of having this 16-team set coming your way. So let's start with some background on the team. They were 90 and 72, 90 wins. They defeated the Texas Rangers for the division championship. A very good Rangers team, a resurgent Rangers team under the leadership of Billy Martin. Speaking of leadership, the Oakland A's in 1974 had a new manager, Alvin Dark, after Dick Williams at the end of the 73 season decided he had had enough of Charlie Finley and couldn't go on anymore. So Finley hired Alvin Dark. Alvin Dark was a manager for Finley for the Kansas City Athletics in the 60s and was seen as someone that Finley could control and was doubted by the players greatly. I'll give you an example. Sal Bando during the 74 season said that Dark could not run a meat market. Well, Sal, as a Brewer fan, I saw you as the GM of the Milwaukee Brewers. I wouldn't go throwing too many stones in that glass house, Sal, because I think a lemonade stand might have been beyond what you were capable of. But I digress. Let's talk about the 74 A's batting order. One of the things that you'll see in the Pine Tar set is Finley was notoriously cheap in salaries to his players, but one thing he would do is go out and find veteran bench players as the season went along to try and fill holes. So on your Pine Tar team, you will have some names that you definitely recognize. The problem is that none of these bench players played especially well for this A's team, although you will have names to look at and to plug in. This is the 74 A's American League Championship Series lineup. Bert Campaneris leading off at short, Bill North in center field, Sal Bando hit third at third base. Reggie Jackson was the DH in this series. Joe Rudi, left field, was batted fifth. So underrated, he might have been overrated by the time the 74 series came around, although he was a very, very good player. Gene Tenace played first base. Claudell Washington in his rookie season was the right fielder, although he DH'd a lot during the regular season. Ray Fosse was the catcher, he hit eighth, and Dick Green played second base and batted ninth. There was a famous fight during the 74 season between Bill North and Reggie Jackson. Ray Fosse tried to break it up and damaged vertebrae in his neck. So Ray Fosse is reduced in that season to 69 games played. Larry Haney did a lot of catching. Gene Tenace did some catching as well. So you'll have that to juggle as you manage the team. Jeff Burroughs was the 1974 American League MVP. Probably should have been Reggie Jackson instead. Better player, having a better year, and certainly better defensively. This was Reggie at his peak. He was the superstar of the team. If you look at this lineup, Would you miss anything if you put North first, leading off, and Campanera second? I don't think you would. I do that in other game engines as well. I just like that combination better. North first, Campy second, but that's up to you. Tennis might be a little low. He had a low batting average in 1974, but he walked a lot and had some good power numbers. You might want him further up in the order. Fosse and Green weren't much offensively, but what you'll notice in this team, let's talk about some scores. The American League Championship Series against the Baltimore Orioles, the Oakland A's won in 4 games. But listen to these scores. They lost game 1, 6-3. They won game 2, 5-0. Then they won games 4 and 5 by 2-1 scores. I'm sorry, 3 and 4 by 2-1 scores. Then, in the World Series, they defeated the Dodgers in Game 1, 3-2. They lost Game 2, 3-2. They won Game 3, 3-2. They won Game 4, 5-2. And they won Game 5, 3-2. And that illustrates the point that I'm trying to make with this team, and I think you'll see reflected in the Pine Tar cards. And that is, this team is not going to beat your brains in. They're not the 61 Yankees or the 27 Yankees or any team that scored a lot of runs. But with the defense that they have and the pitching that they have, you better be perfect to beat them. And that's going to be hard for teams to do. I think this team will fare well in Pine Tar tournaments and seasons with the great teams set. I think they'll do well. They're going to be tough to beat. You may want to think about whether, because you know going in they're not going to score an awful lot of runs, you may want to think about first run strategies, stealing, bunting, the hit and run. This team was fundamentally sound, maybe the most sound fundamentally of any team in the second half of the 20th century. Just amazing fundamentals, low error numbers, lots of double plays. Dick Green, do yourself a favor. Watch the YouTube 1974 World Series games that are on there. They're not all on there, but there's a few, including the World Series highlight film. Watch Dick Green play second base. He didn't hit much in 1974 because his back was going bad. This was his last season. He'd retire because of back pain. But, man, could that guy play second base. Not a lot of range, but boy, if you hit it to him, you were out. And if there was a double play coming, it was turned every single time. Just watch him. It's amazing. Last thing. The 1974 A's had 3, I think, pretty famous starting pitchers. Catfish Hunter, Vida Blue, and Ken Holtzman. Excellent ratings on their Pine Tar cards. And in the regular season, they accumulated about 850 innings pitched between the 3 of them. 3 starters, 850 innings pitched. That's going to be something for the other teams in your leagues and tournaments with this great team set to keep up with. That is going to be a challenge. So think about that as you prepare your team. And let me know about the first run strategies, because that may be the way to go with them. More running, taking the extra base, hit and run, bunting, doing all the little things that are going to get you a run so that they win 3-2, rather than waiting for Reggie necessarily to hit a 3-run homer. That's my preview of the 1974 Oakland A's. Hope you enjoyed it. Please click like and subscribe to my channel. Check out Pine Tar Baseball at ttlbaseballgame.com and watch for the great team set coming soon. Hope you have a great day. So long, everybody.